doesn't participate in pet data to look up the license numbers like Manatee County does. So, if we find one with a license from there, we can look it up, but we can't for Sarasota. You have to actually call Sarasota County or call that Humane Society that was on the tag, and they didn't do that. And they would have had the owner. They never had any intention, no intention of finding that owner.
Of finding the owner, yeah.
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 And that's terrible.
Don't understand that. Yeah.
No, I know. And sometimes, I try to use the, that reverse psychology and just say, well, how would you feel if that was your pet? But I mean, the people that act like that doesn't mean anything to them,
Then they'll usually say, well, I would never let a pet go missing, or I would never let a pet get in that condition. And, and accidents happen. And usually, I mean, we have some rescues that have lost more than 2 hands worth of dogs.
Oh, I know.
More than I can count on 2 hands,
Yeah. Yep, I know. Oh boy. I know. Yeah. So
that's one of the reasons why, and I think we talked about this a bit last month. But when we're doing the microchip scanning, and we're kind of advising people at events, if they tell us that they adopted the dog and the rescue is still the first contact on the microchip, I always tell them, go home and get that changed. I mean, you paid the money for this dog. You are not renting the dog from the rescue. You have purchased the dog, whether they want to call it an adoption or not. It's really, it's a purchase, and it's your dog, and you're responsible for it. And get that microchip in your name, because you want to be the first one that's called when your dog ends up at animal control.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know. And it's not anything that you can't stress enough. Sometimes I think people, if they listen to us regularly, would think we're broken records, but you cannot stress it enough that a microchip is no good. There's no point of even having one if you're not going to make sure it's up to date and registered properly. I had one yesterday. The dog was scanned, and this is the second time it's happened, and it came back to a cat. So I actually called just in case they had a dog, but they're like, no. And I said to them, well, you need to get your cat scanned then, because your cat might not be registered properly.
Yeah.
And I double checked the number, and it was just wrong. So either I don't know what happened. Whoever registered it transposed a number, most likely.
A number, or mixed up the microchip little stickery things while they were, done at a clinic or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's another reason it's so important to check it, because one number off. I've had wrong phone numbers, and like it would be 914, and I knew it should have been 941 for the area code, but that it was just typed in wrong. So you have to check. I mean, people make mistakes, and sometimes it's that mistake that could cost or be the difference between getting your pet back or not.
Right. And I think, there's a lot of people that think, okay, well, my pet is microchipped. If it ends up in a shelter, it's going to come right home to me. And in a perfect world, that does happen. But the stray hold, I don't know what it's like there, but here, the stray hold clock is still ticking. So if it takes from, we have a 4-day stray hold, which means the animal can be adopted on the 5th day. If they haven't been able to contact you for whatever reason, when your dog goes up for adoption on the 5th day, in Wisconsin, especially like a small dog, is going to be adopted very quickly, like probably within a couple of hours of hitting the adoption floor. And
absolutely.
And then there is absolutely no recourse for that owner. So I think they think that somehow magically everything's going to work out and it's going to be okay. And we have to say, no, sorry, but the shelter really didn't do anything wrong. They held. I mean, of course, we wish that they would do a really good job researching for that owner. But if they made an honest attempt to try to contact that owner in those 4 days, on the 5th day, it becomes their property, and they can then legally adopt it out.
Right.
And they will not give out the name of that new family.
Yeah.
or anything. We just actually went through the situation in Illinois, and that family does not have their dog back, and it is microchipped to them.
Oh
But it's been
gosh.
adopted to a new home, and there's just nothing that can be done. The
Mm.
new family likes the dog, does not want to give it back, and
Mm.
it's it's really a mess. But in that sort of situation, I mean, we just have to kind of throw up our hands and go, geez, um, the, there was no law broken, and
Yeah.
unless that new family, you know, feels so guilty or has a change of heart, there's not much that can be done.
Well, let's send them all some mojo that they feel guilty and give the dog
I
back, right?
know,
Sheepers,
I know.
creepers.
I
Oh,
kind of have it's not really, it's a bit of a joke, but it's not really a joke that I use for the volunteers. But we actually had one dog, many years ago now, but somebody, the same sort of thing happened, and the dog was legally adopted from a shelter, and the new family had it for a couple months, but then it peed on the floor, and they surrendered it back to the shelter.
oh my
And so
gosh.
then the old owner got their dog back, and so that's what I
Aw.
always pray and hope for, is that the dog pees on the floor.
I know, I know. Well, hey, everybody that's listening, let's put your thoughts to that family to do the
Yeah,
right thing and give that dog
yeah,
back.
I
I mean,
know.
really, how can you do that? Because,
I know.
oh, I don't know.
Yep, I
I
know.
might end up in jail if somebody ever took my dog.
I know.
Oh
I know. I
gosh.
definitely would.
Oh, I know. But people just don't care,
Well,
They just
yeah.
don't care.
Hmm.
Oh
Yep.
dear. So,
Yep.
is there anything that we haven't talked about that you wanted to mention regarding this case? I know one thing that I want to mention because I recently was reading some of your blog about the lost or the stolen dogs and stuff, and one thing that was really important that I think you should address here is that I hate when people say, "Oh, my dog was stolen," without
Hmm.
absolute proof. I won't even approve the post anymore. I'll just retype the post and post it myself because I don't like that.
No, we stopped putting using the word stolen at all, and the reason for that is we're not trying to deny that some dogs truly are stolen, but what happens is when people say that right off the bat, is then they lessen their chance of ever finding their dog,
Mm,
because then people assume it's stolen, and it could be lost. It could be just around the corner eating in the cornfield,
right,
and somebody might drive right by it and go, oh, that couldn't possibly be the same dog because that other dog was stolen, you know,
right, right.
and and then plus, sure, it causes a lot of drama and everything to hear that, but and so maybe I think the thought is, okay, if I say my dog is stolen, um, I'm going to get more publicity,
Mm,
but that really does backfire, because the when it turns out that the dog wasn't stolen, first of all, nobody ever goes back and kind of says, oh, especially if it gets on the news, you never
mhm.
get an update saying, oh, the dog wasn't stolen. But it makes more people give up hope. And then it becomes a big conspiracy theory and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And when it boils right down to it, dogs that are truly, what we call would be a truly stolen dog, was the dog was the intent of the crime. Taking the dog was the intent of the crime. Just
Mhm.
kind of like, murder, right? Somebody went intentionally to do that.
Mhm.
Um, a dog, a home break-in, a lot of times, and the dog is missing, and people assume the dog was stolen. A lot of times, the dog was just got let out by the burglar and
Mhm.
is lost somewhere in the neighborhood.
Mm,
We've had that happen many times.
yeah.
And they wanted to report the dog is stolen. The dog wasn't stolen at all; it just got out the door when the burglar
Right.
went in. you know,
Right. Right.
so
Well, also
yeah,
one of the things that the blog had said was that this was an interesting concept that then the person that did find the dog might be worried or something about being called a thief or whatever. And that's true too. Like, oh, you
yeah,
took my dog. Why'd you take my dog? Well, no, they were getting it out of harm's way, you know?
yeah, yes, absolutely. If it's a good Samaritan that's picked it up, yes, absolutely, yeah. So then they may let the dog go again, or they may, you know, move the dog far away so that you know there's no evidence, and
Yeah.
yeah, I'm with you. We just don't even go down that path anymore. We will not put stolen on a flyer.
Right. Yeah.
It causes more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it makes people not, like you said, not look as hard maybe because they have no idea where to look. Whereas, if my dog got lost from these two cross streets, that's where you concentrate, and expand from there. But then if you say it was stolen without absolute positive information, it kind of like, okay, so where do I look?
Right.
So it's not a good thing to do. I mean, I just had it the other day, and of course the dog wasn't stolen. It was just lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we do know that it happens, and generally, like as we started the talk at the beginning of the show, it's more to do with finders of lost pets deciding to keep them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
And dogs that are truly stolen, again, kind of like with murder with people, it's generally somebody that's known to the person. It's either somebody that has a grudge, a disgruntled family member or ex-boyfriend or ex-wife or something like that, or somebody that is owed money or by the family, something like that.
Right.
That's so often the case.
Yeah. Well, Kathy, we are already out of time already. So if you'd just like to quickly tell everybody about Lost Dogs of America, we'll have to say goodbye.
Yeah. Okay. So we are Lost Dogs of America. Yeah. And our website is lostdogsofamerica.org, or you can find us on Facebook just at Lost Dogs of America.
All right. Well, thanks again, Kathy, for being with us. And until next time, everybody, remember, a lost pet can't tell anyone where it lives. So please be sure your pet is microchipped and wearing its ID tags. And if it is chipped, please call and check that chip is registered and up to date. I'm your host, Patty Giarrusso, and this has been Let's Talk Pets on Society Bites Radio. Thanks for joining us today. And until next time, take care and keep your pets safe.